let's get back onto the Skype wall, please. Sports Tonight Live is the address of the Skype wall. We'd like you to get up there because we want to talk to you. You, the fans, are much more important to us here than I am, because you are the bedrock of football in this country. Perhaps not as important as me. I might have got that one wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. The fans are the bedrock of our show. Right, up on the Skype wall now, Johnny, who's an Arsenal fan. Johnny, good afternoon to you.
Good evening.
Yeah, listen, mate, I have to say, yeah, good evening. That's a good point. It is good evening. Thank you very much indeed. Watch your stop. Right, now then, what I was going to say was, mate, that at half-time yesterday, you were dead and buried. You were out. The fans were in revolt. The Arsene Wenger was on his way. So what happened? It must have been a dramatic and very effective half-time talk.
Yeah, it was very unexpected, but very welcome at the same time. Obviously, I don't ever remember feeling as low as I did at half-time yesterday. As low as I've felt in the last 5 or 6 years, really. But a few choice words, I'm sure, were said in the changing room at half-time, and it showed. The team in the first half were lacklustre. They just seemed to really be going through the motions. And in the second half, they fought as a team should. And it was the best bit of mental strength and team spirit I've seen for a long, long time.
What was the feeling at half-time then? You felt as low as the belly of a snake. What about all the other fans? How did they feel?
Yeah, it was a very, very low. I mean, I sit in quite a loud, I know this is laughable, but quite a loud section of the Emirates where everyone kind of stands up and sings and supports. But the mood at half-time was very, very low. We kind of felt that's it. It was over. We were out the cup.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No, but the thing is, Mike, we spoke at half-time in yesterday's game, and we were both convinced that they could definitely get back into the game.
Oh, I put money on Arsenal to end up the game as a 2-2 draw. And in fact, after they scored their second, I then wanted the game to close down. But of course it didn't. But I had absolutely no doubt they would come back.
But the Arsenal of second half is why neutrals love Arsenal. They had, I think it was 9 shots. 7 on target in 16 minutes.
They did,
They tore them apart.
Yeah, they did.
And they are unplayable against anybody when they're in that mood. And I believe that if they can just have that confidence, and I think they're lacking arrogance, to be honest. I think they're lacking it. And if they get that back, they can do that to anybody.
Did it take a bit of the pressure off Theo Walcott, Johnny? Because he's been coming in for a little bit of stick lately from the fans. And, of course, he got in amongst it when it was most needed.
Yeah, I mean, Theo Walcott in the second half was a lot better than Theo Walcott over the last 5 weeks. But I think Theo's a bit unlucky in terms that people forget, A, he's only 22, B, any English player that breaks in at a young age has got the world, the whole country's expectation on his shoulders. And he's kind of doing the best that he can, but I don't think Theo's going to be better than what he is at the moment. I think he goes through periods like he did at the game at Chelsea and for a few weeks later where he's grey and he sets up goals and gets involved in the play. But I think people kind of have to accept that he does have a bit of a limitation. I think if you compare Theo Walcott...
Darren Lewis here shaking his head as you're speaking. Darren.
I find it incredible that you would say that. I'm going to take you back to 1997. Arsenal were playing at Wembley Stadium, if I'm not mistaken, in their Champions League group with teams like Panathinaikos, etc. And I remember a colleague of mine, not in my paper, but at another newspaper, was talking about Nicolas Anelka, the striker. And he said Arsenal need a 20-goal-a-season striker. Anelka missed loads of sitters in that match.
Yeah, I remember that. His first season, Anelka was hopeless, wasn't he?
That's right. And a colleague of mine, a very well-known colleague, I probably won't mention his name, but he said...
In case he sues you.
Well, indeed.
What, for speaking the truth?
Yes, yes.
Said,
we're fearless here. Yeah, go on.
He said they need a 20-goal-a-season man because Anelka is not that man. And we all know what Anelka went on to do. So I think it's very, very dangerous to make these pronouncements as if they're fact. Theo Walcott has limitations. You yourself said he's 20 years of age. Look how many players have improved.
Yeah, he's 22 actually, Theo, because remember he went at 17 to the World Cup.
Indeed. But the point I'm trying to make is he's nowhere near his peak. I just think it's crazy to assume that that's all we're going to get from Theo Walcott. I believe the future for Theo Walcott will be as a central striker on the shoulder of the last defender. He's shown us already that he's got composure in front of goal, and then you'll be back on here raving about him. I think it's far too soon to knock him and say that he's got limitations.
Johnny, I know you're up there on the Skype wall, we love listening to you, but I've got to jump in here. I would say that the biggest weakness in Theo Walcott is his composure in front of goal. I think he's a natural finisher that finishes very, very well when he's got no time to think about it. Right. And again, with his deliveries, he gets to the byline, or he gets to a place where he can deliver, he doesn't. Yeah. But when he does it instinctively, he does really well.
I can't have that, because you look at the calibre of the opposition that he's scored goals against, and that tells you everything you need to know. Defenders that don't give him the time and the space that he would want.
When he's got no time to think about it.
Let me get back to Johnny, fellas. Johnny, just how important is this FA Cup competition to Arsenal this season?
It's massive. I think realistically, the Champions League is, it's nice to go as far as we can. As far as we get is a bonus, but we're not going to win the Champions League. The FA Cup is a realistic target to go for. Yep. Man United and Man City are out, and we've kind of got to face off, if we can, with Chelsea, Spurs and Liverpool. Yep. I think we've got a good chance, which is why it's so important for us. If we could just win that first trophy, I don't know where that could take us.
Do you think Spurs will finish above you this season?
At the moment, having lost 3 games, and you have to give Spurs credit, they're playing very well. I think they're obviously favourites to do that. I still think, though, with them to come to the Emirates, and they've still got hard games ahead, if we could get our confidence back and get a good run of form and play a bit more like we did in the second half with belief and togetherness as a team, then I still think we could turn it around.
Can I just squeeze one up more in before Mike kicks me out? Yesterday, you talked about you were sat in a loud section. I was at the Emirates Stadium yesterday. I believe that match summed up the knife edge that Arsene Wenger's on. Right. Because fans at Arsenal, I'm sorry, and I'm probably going to get hit over the head for this. Yeah. I think there are a lot of fickle fans at Arsenal.
I don't think they're fickle.
At half-time, there were a lot of fans who were booing the players.
60,000 of them every week.
Well, listen, I was there, and if there were 60,000 fans there, then
I heard that there were big gaps in around the stadium.
There were huge gaps at the Emirates Stadium. Yeah. But I want him to answer this question about support for the team, because you were there, so you know as well. Half-time, lot of booing, not getting behind the team. Why not? You're 2-0 down. Surely the thing to do is support the players.
I'll come back to you on that. I mean, me personally, I go to every home and away game. I'm taking a day off from work to go up to Bolton on Wednesday night.
Wow.
So I don't think
dedicated
fan of the last 15 years. I think Arsene Wenger and the board and the club in general have let the fans down in a massive way.
Whoa!
Left Highbury.
You sat yesterday in the stadium Arsene Wenger built.
Let him finish. Go on, Johnny.
To go to the Emirates Stadium because we were told we were going to be competing for the top players there are. Yeah. Every year since then we've regressed. We've lost players. And I take the point about what you guys were saying about in the second half. That's why it's exciting to watch Arsenal. It was exciting, but during this season, apart from the Chelsea game, I haven't felt particularly excited with the brand of football we're playing. And unfortunately, in any other big club, if your manager was losing as many players as we were and hadn't won a trophy in 6 or 7 years, he wouldn't be the manager. We appreciate very much what he's done to the club and turned it around. Fans are now frustrated. We're being charged the highest prices in Europe, and unfortunately, we're not competing like we want to be. 4th place is not the fans' ambition.
Would you want Mourinho at your club, Johnny?
As I said, I appreciate everything Arsene Wenger has done, but I think now is the time to move on. And if you offered me Mourinho, in a heartbeat, I'll take him.
Yeah, and Wenger going the other way to Real Madrid, so he wouldn't exactly be short of a crust, would he? Johnny, I want to thank you very much indeed, mate. Splendid contribution to the show, and I hope we'll see you up on the Skype ball again very soon.